Hello, I'm Dr. Roger Morrison. Welcome back. This is part 4 of our TicTacToe analysis model. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. This is part 4. If you have not watched the previous 3 videos and you're one of my students, you really seriously need to watch those before you watch this. We're going to get straight into part 4, which is where we're going to cover what goes in the identity block. Remember, now you can do these in different order. I tend to teach and require students to do the external analysis before the internal. When you're in a real world organization, you'll know the identity going in, and then you can do the internal, external, whatever order. Only because in the matrix, the top left is the identity cell. So we're just going to cover that real quick. It's actually really straightforward. So let's just get straight to it. In the 3x3 matrix, this is the top row, the farmost left cell. And what you would do is you'd state the current mission. Then you'd state the current vision. You'd list any core values the company holds important to themselves. And then if you have a motto or a slogan or anything, you can list those as well. Now here's, and again, students take notes. The definition of a mission and vision is really, really important. I give you, these are not book definitions. These are my definitions / explanations of what these are. Companies tend to mess up mission and vision statements. They'll tend to mess up mottos and slogans and vision statements. They'll get these terms totally confused. Your mission is what you do. That's it. It's a description of who you are. How do you go about doing your business today? And this is also much longer. This is paragraph length. Normally, a mission statement should be a paragraph length present tense statement. It identifies your current business, your objectives, how you approach reaching those objectives. It's a statement of where your business is now, not the future. It contains information about customers, product and services, markets, technology, concern for survival, growth, profitability, your philosophy, priorities, your self-concept, anything where you're distinctively competent, your concern for society, concern for employees, all that goes into the mission statement. Now, there's a guy named Fred David. I think I mentioned him before. He wrote a textbook, and in one of his research articles, journal articles, he has an analysis of I think there's 9 points that a good mission statement should cover. And that's where most of these come from. If you want a copy of that journal article, you can email me or just look up Fred David mission statement analysis. Just Google it and you should be able to go straight to Google Scholar or get some kind of journal result from that. So the first thing you do is you list the current mission. Now note just immediately, if this is paragraph length, you can't write this in a cell on a piece of paper. You just don't have the room. So again, the matrix is just a framework to lay out your thinking. It's not how you would literally present this in a board meeting. Your identities are recorded, they're common knowledge. If you look in our syllabus, our mission and vision, and for the College of Business are there. Now, again, I'm not going to critique them because I don't have any input to writing them. They come from the dean's office. Troy University has mission, vision, value statements, mottos. Every organization should have these. If you don't have a mission statement or your mission statement is wrong, then it's worse than the expectations. Especially, and if you're a person, you may not have a personal mission statement. You actually do. You probably just never thought to write it down. It's a good exercise. Take the time to write down your personal mission statement and just see what you come up with. This is not something you'll get graded on in my classes, but it's a good exercise just to understand a little bit about yourself and frame that against where you want to be in the future and how you're going to get there and what you're doing with yourself. Anyway, the vision statement is different from the mission statement in one or two key ways. The biggest one is it's not a current tense statement. This is future tense. This is about where you want to be in the future. Now, people say, how far in the future? Well, you could say a year, but then you'd be changing it all the time. If you put it in the length of a strategic plan, 4 to 6 years, okay, well, maybe. I would say as long as it's a statement that's achievable and it is future tense, you're probably okay. Just remember, it's got to be achievable. So it's sentence length. Again, it's sentence length. As the mission statement is paragraph length, the vision statements should be sentence length. They're future tense. It identifies your current and future organization objectives. It's just a one-liner. It makes it clear where your organization is headed, and where and what you want it to be in the future. Think 5 to 10 years. If you go beyond 5 to 10 years, is it really achievable in any reasonable period of time? Maybe not. If it's too short, you'll achieve it. You'll be changing it all the time. So think 5 to 10 years. But that's your vision statement. Again, most companies get these two things swapped or misdefined. Mistakenly defined. Misdefined. Sounds weird. Anyway, another thing you might want to include in your identity of your whatever you're doing the strategic analysis on is your value statement or value statements. Now, values are sentence length statements that state what you believe in, the organization, or if you're doing it for your person, what you believe in, how the organization is expected to behave, how it's expected to interact with the outside world, outlooks on customers, outlooks on suppliers, other stakeholders, employees, whoever. It's a summary of what the organization or the person holds true to, and it's similar to a person's character or personality. That's part of values. I'll give you an example of a couple of companies you might be familiar with. Here in Alabama, we have Chick-fil-A. Now, Chick-fil-A is a Christian-owned business. I'm not saying it's good or bad to be Christian-owned. That's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is their Christian values means that they stay closed on Sunday. They hold the Sunday Sabbath, the Sunday first day of the week, to be a holy day, and they give people time to be off to go to church. You can tell clearly they're a Christian-owned business. They treat people a certain way. And that includes if they treat people as they think they should be treated, then they give them time off for spiritual needs on Sundays. Another company does something very similar is Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby is a Christian-owned business. Both are privately held companies. And Hobby Lobby is closed on Sundays. This is a foreign concept in some places of the country where you don't have that many or as many Christian-owned businesses that are just closed on Sundays. Some places might say, well, we're not Christian-owned, but all of our workers work 5 days a week, so we're just closed on Saturdays and Sundays. We hold to a banking calendar. Well, it's okay. Whatever your values are for your company, this is where you list them. Now, there's all kinds of different values. You can say that your values might include supporting inner city youth, or support for a lot of organizations, especially not-for-profits, they have a value statement that would cover some social cause, like the Lions Club, or in a lot of capital cities, you have the Capital City Club or the Key Club or whatever. Their value statements would include that social cause. You can look at Walmart. You walk in the front door at Walmart, and they have usually have a big bulletin board that has pictures of missing people. I think it's missing children. That's one of the things that Walmart spends money on, is missing children causes. So anyway, value statements are things like that. Don't limit yourself to that. Go online, look up samples of value statements, and you'll see that they can cover a lot of different stuff, but they really have more to do with the personality of the organization or the person, rather than what that company is today and what they want to become. It's really a guiding set of constraints or whatever. Anyway, value statements. Other things that could go here would be a motto. These are usually a few short words. It's a phrase. It's intended to motivate or excite to action. Shows your intent, your purpose. Nike had one, just do it. You know, in the U.S. Army, be all you can be in the Army, you know, or an army of one was a slogan they had for a while. There are different companies have different mottos or slogans. Troy has one, educate the mind to, and I'm probably getting this wrong, even though I work here, the mind to think, the body to act, the heart to feel. And that's, I know that's paraphrased, but it's just a one-line sentence that explains a lot about our thinking about how and why and what and who and all that we teach. It's just a motivational kind of thing. Think of it like a slogan. Some companies have separate slogans from mottos. Slogans are almost meant for the employees, where mottos are similar, but they're more outward facing. But some companies will list them separately. Some will call them the same thing. Whatever they are, you need to list them, because when you come up with your internal factors and your external factors, you might find that, well, this is really, really important to our industry. Yeah, but in our particular company, it's really not that important to us. For example, one of your values might be that you value a face-to-face communication with people. They're not just numbers on a website. Well, if there's an increasing demand in products through internet sales, increasing demand is always a favorable external circumstance, but it may just not apply very strongly to you, to your company, if you don't have internet sales, or you're trying your best to stay away from internet sales, things like that. So you may also have a value statement that, or a motto. If you're, and here, just back up to motto for a minute. A lot of Christians, and again, I'm just stating this as just as a point for statement, not as me telling you what you personally should believe, or even that I believe. But a lot of Christians would look at the Great Commission, you know, go forth, make disciples of all nations, teaching them, et cetera, as a motto. You know, that is why we do what we do, or that is why I do what I do, or that is what I believe my first priority ought to be, whatever. They'll treat that like it is a motto. Now, when you get to do an internal analysis or an external analysis, you can look at that motto and it'll help frame your context of thinking through the models to come up with those internal, external factor lists. You can also say, because of that motto, and it's part of my or our identity, think of a Christian church, or, you know, if a Muslim organization had a similar motto from the Quran, whatever, it might demand that as an individual, you have certain things listed high on your list of priorities for outputs. Like a Christian might have on their priorities to share the gospel. That's you know, share the gospel through this way, through that way. If you do all your outputs and you call yourself Christian, some Christians might say, well, you're not really acting like it because you don't have any outputs that say you're actually doing that. And I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying you understand the thought process here. If you can say the same thing about somebody who says they are Muslim, but none of their outputs say that they're doing anything regarding the pillars of Islam, you know, giving the alms, regular prayers, you know, the pilgrimage, you know, things like that. If there's nothing in your outputs that's, you say that's your identity, but your outputs don't reflect that, well, you got a problem. So the idea of doing the identity first is to help guide your thinking, or at least make sure you don't miss something important in terms of the input and output factors. And if you go back to the second video, I think it was at the very end, there's a flow chart that shows the zones of the 3x3 matrix and some arrows that show what feeds what. And that'll just help you understand what I'm trying to mean. So that's what goes in the identity cell. And there's my contact information again. I know these are going to be a little bit shorter now, I hope. I'm Dr. Roger Morrison. There's my contact information, my email address, my phone number. If you have any questions, email me. If I don't If you want to call me, that's fine. But if I'm not at my desk, let it go to voicemail. It'll record a voicemail, send it to me by email. Make sure you speak clearly, please. Best to reach me by email, though, because I get that home and everywhere else, and it's easy to understand if someone types me an email. So that said, I'll stop sharing and I will be back momentarily. We'll talk about the next part of the model. Thank you for paying attention.